Hello people, I'm Tommy, and today I am finally gonna do it. I'm gonna finally end years of judging a book by its cover and play Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE. You know, this home screen has a lot of personality. The video game console, a piece of hardware that lets you play a wide variety of different games. But some days, maybe you just turn on the console, ready to play a game, and then realize you just don't want to gouge out your eyes today. So instead of doing that, we're going to take a look at the history of one of gaming's most useful, yet unappreciated features, the home screen. Back in the Stone Age, video game home screens were non-existent. Some consoles had a boot-up screen, but other than that, not much else to see here. So if you wanted to play Phalanx on the SNES, well, the console knew its place, so it started up immediately. So during this era, the use of a home screen was very rare, but not unseen. The Famicom Disk System is one of the earliest examples of a home screen. You got the Mario Cast jumping around on the bottom, and the Disk System practically on its knees, begging you to insert a disc card. After that stint, the home screen would go into dormant once again. The Sega CD would have a home screen akin to the Famicom Disk System, but Sega does what Nintendo don't, and so Sega inserted a bit of psychological mindfuckery to get you to play a Sega product. But please, this is also the company that bestowed Knuckles Chaotix onto this plane of existence, so I'm smarter than that. We arrive at the 6th console generation, the PS2, Xbox, Dreamcast, and GameCube. And completely out of the blue, the idea of having a home screen with a truckload of features went from something almost non-existent to an industry standard. All 4 consoles had a home screen in some shape or form. The Sega Dreamcast had an appealing one. There's nowhere to go but up after you make Knuckles Chaotix. It's got all the necessary features a home screen should have: opening the game, memory card section, settings, and time and dates. Run of the mill, but it has a nice presentation. This is a good one. The GameCube is iconic. You got the square come in and BAM! Mr. Bronze Medal. Other than that, it's very similar to the Dreamcast. You've got the opening game, options where it can mourn my recently corrupted memory card, you got the options to change sound and date and time. Other than a few Easter eggs like pressing a specific button on the controller while starting up the console, that's all there is to see here. It keeps with the theme of the console because every corner is cube, but still looks a bit bland. I'm soiled. The original Xbox home screen, my favorite science fiction horror experience. This menu just radiates early 2000s. It gives the feel that you're digging through the system itself as you look through the memory section, and parental controls has never looked this badass. Unless you absolutely hate the colors green and black, then this home screen is pretty sick. PlayStation 2, it's got that memory card game, big fucking whoop. It's fine. It's got the moving lights, which freaked me out as a kid for some reason. Best-selling console of all time. This menu ain't doing it any favors. Jumping up a generation, we've got the Nintendo Wii, and this is nice. Nintendo went for a television vibe, making all the programs channels that are super easy to shuffle around with. Even moving around the channels made a TV-like sound effect. The Wii's home screen is iconic, and then the Nintendo DS home screen, time, date, PictoChat, these are all physiological needs. The Xbox 360 actually went through a few facelifts with its home screen, as at launch it looked like this. So we went from an alien spaceship to a filing cabinet. This is lame and I don't like it. But eventually, Microsoft would update the Xbox home screen to what is called the Xbox 360 Metro. And this is when Microsoft started making everything look like their Windows operating systems. And I'm gonna come out and say it, this is my favorite home screen. There is nothing here that's buried and hard to find. The first screen has all the important stuff, like the game that you insert into the disc tray, along with digital downloads. Then you've got the Xbox Marketplace, movies, music, and settings. You can also change the theme of the background, something that has become a staple for home consoles. Simplistic, yes, but still succeeds to have a personality while still being easy to manage. The PlayStation 3, it's a better PlayStation 2 that tries to be like the Xbox 360 Metro. It's got icons, and when you hover over a game, you see the only semblance of life this home screen has. It's got the little wave in the back that's nice. The trophy collection is in the PlayStation Network section. I don't know what that's about. It's obviously better than the PlayStation 2, but it is still not wowing me. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, said Nintendo, except in some places, so make it bad. I have a very on and off relationship with the Wii U home screen. On one hand, Nintendo tried to modernize the Wii channels, but this only made it have a feeling of placelessness. On the other hand, almost every other area does ooze that classic Nintendo charm. While waiting for the eShop to load, you get to play a little mini game that's fun. Back in the day, Miiverse would show games in your collection and you'd be able to see other people's art. But the Wii U lacks in presentation, it makes up for wholeheartedly in personality. After the Nintendo DS, Nintendo would release the DSi with a pretty nice home screen. It's fine, the top screen is dedicated to the photo album as the camera was a big selling point of the console, and the rest of the home screen is just a conveyor belt of programs. I like it, but it's vastly inferior to the Nintendo 3DS. Now, I'm going to try and not be biased while talking about my favorite console of all time, but this is great. One of the big features of this home screen is the changing rows. One row takes too long to navigate, two is alright, but I am a strict believer in 3-row supremacy. And if you go to someone's house and see that they have their 3DS home screen at 4 or 5 row mode, fucking run! Ability to create folders, easy access to internet, Miiverse, and friends. This in the 360 really threw it out of the park with these home screens. Xbox One, we had a good thing, you stupid son of a bitch. We had Metro, we had organization, it ran like clockwork, it was perfect. But no, you just had to blow it up. You and your layers upon layers of buried content. You just had to be the all-in-one console. If you stuck with what worked, knew your place, we'd all be fine right now. Also, there's a revamp called Xbox One Experience. It also sucked. PlayStation 4. You know what, Sony? You did it. It kept the things that worked with the PS3 and made a home screen more akin to the Xbox with its copious amount of squares. For the most part, it is much easier to navigate, except for the fact that with the TV and video section to access YouTube and streaming services, you gotta click on that icon and wait 3 years for it to load. The PS Vita went with this bubble design, tapping icons and quite literally ripping open the game. Both the PS4 and Vita did a solid job. Congratulations, Sony. Better late than never. And here we are at the modern day with the Nintendo Switch, and this is so bad. Like, I know this sounds hypocritical coming from a guy who praised the Xbox 360, but this is too many squares. And then everything is just dumped into the settings. Like, why is me creation in the settings? Why is themes in the settings? Why is all of this just together and not its own area of the home screen? And then there's the folders. It took Nintendo actual years to add these. Why? If the 360 was simple in the good way, Nintendo Switch is simple in the bad way. And now we finally arrive at post-singularity. The PS4 and Xbox One home screens were just so advanced that Sony and Microsoft just kept them with the PS5 and Series X. PS5 is PS4, fine. Series X is just the Xbox One. Why would anyone want to keep this garbage? So in conclusion, the best home screen is one that's simple, easy to navigate, but still retains a hint of personality. I had fun looking at these. You see how the home screen started off as something very simple, and then each company would go up and down with their best and worst console home screens. And that is the home screen of consoles, a typically overlooked aspect, but one that is very important. In fact, I was so mesmerized by the Wii U's personality that I accidentally dropped my Tokyo Mirage Sessions disc into a paper shredder.